Hey guys, I'm Chris,
Sasha.
I'm Charles.
and we're back for episode 6 of the Untold Gems podcast. Thank you for watching and subscribing. We've got a lot to talk about as usual, but first, what's going on with you guys? Is everything good?
Yep. How was your guys' weekend?
Weekend.
Solid. It's actually not bad.
What did we do? Didn't we have someone's birthday? Oh yeah, it was my cousin's birthday,
Yeah.
and yeah. Other than that, like I've just been doing this new thing where I've been planning every single day of mine ahead. So like the night before, I plan my day out in detail, and that's been like really helping right now. I
Yeah,
feel
he
so
keeps
good.
harassing me every night. He's like, Sasha, we need to plan our day. And I'm like, I'm just trying to sleep. But honestly, it does help. Like honestly, it's helpful. Because then you have your day. Like you wake up knowing exactly what you're gonna do, you know? So it does help. I think I'm gonna start doing it too. I used to do it, but then I kind of stopped.
Yeah, I don't want it to stop. Like I'm sure it's things that I've already done in the past, but I want to keep it going because like it's good to have the times of when I'm gonna eat. Like I know when I'm gonna shower, when I'm gonna do like the repetitive things, when I'm gonna work and do stuff like that. So I don't know. It's nice to plan. If you what is it? If you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Facts.
Um, yeah.
Like I
Um,
usually plan my day in the morning. Like I usually wake up and then plan my day, but like you're right that when you like you were saying that when you plan it at night, then you wake up having something to look forward to. So it's true. But yeah, sometimes I'm too tired at night to even like think about the next day. So I just like pass out, you know, but maybe I
yeah,
should
yeah.
start.
Yeah. Because sometimes when I wake up and I want to plan my day, sometimes I just don't. I end up falling into my bad habits of just scrolling through social media or like doing random
Yeah, you
things.
don't have like something immediately to get up and do. So you just like end up going on social media. It's true. It's true.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Guilty of that.
And do you guys have like morning routines and stuff?
Uh, depends the day, but I look at the if it's during the week, I look at the market. I try not to touch my phone for like or not look at social media for like the first 3 minutes of the day, and then afterwards I'll text the people who texted me back, and then like start my actual like day.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But I
that's
used to have this
good.
bad reflex of like waking up, going on IG, going on
Oh yeah, that's
Twitter,
the
Mhm,
worst.
going on
mhm.
Yeah.
Facebook, doing the whole trinity, and then afterwards starting my day. Now I try to not look at anything. I'll just look at like the important news, and if it's something that I have to deal with right away, then all good. If not, then I'll do it afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a really good streak of not looking at my phone like right away, but lately I've been so bad. Like every morning I'm on my phone, like checking my analytics for like YouTube and like IG, like everything. Like I'm going crazy and like checking my emails. Like it's so bad to wake up like straight to that because then like I don't know, it's just a bad habit. And yeah, so I'm trying to change that, but I do have like some good things that I do, but I used to try to force a morning routine too much, I think. So then like I would wake up and I would be like, oh, I can't start my day until I've completed like these 5 different things.
Yeah,
But then
me
I would
too.
end up like I would end up just like pushing them back, and then taking breaks in between. And then like I would never actually complete all of the steps of the morning routine. And then I would just never start my day. So like that happened so many times. So lately I've just been kind of like I'm gonna wake up and like just start my day, start working, start doing whatever there is to do that day, and then like try to do those other habits gradually throughout the day instead of like immediately in the morning. And I find that works better for me. So I find like to not try to force a routine too much. I find that works a bit better for me. But
Hmm.
yeah, basically coffee is like the main thing that I do every day. Like every
Yeah,
day I
yo,
make
sometimes
coffee.
she's like, I need coffee, and I'm like, no, relax. Like you don't need coffee.
Nah,
And
I,
she,
I feel you. It's
Yeah, I'm
bad.
becoming an addict. It's so bad, but it's because like I've learned how to make the perfect coffee that I love. And like once you do that, it's like I want it every single day. So that's another bad habit of mine.
me, I was trying to focus on finding a morning routine, like doing certain things before getting to work. But for me, I find the best thing that I can do when I wake up is to work immediately, like to work on my Amazon business. Like that's the first thing that I like to do in the morning as soon as I wake up. And then after I'll go eat and stuff like that. So yeah, I was trying to find a perfect morning routine, but there isn't such a thing. That's why now I'm trying to plan my days the night before.
Yeah, it's
So
true.
and it takes time. Sometimes I take like 30 minutes to plan my day because I'm trying to figure out like what am I actually gonna feel like doing so that I'm not gonna put it off. Because sometimes I say, okay, I'm just gonna do something and then I don't end up doing it because I wasn't actually
Yeah,
down to
me
do it.
too. Me
I'm
too.
trying to
That's
figure
that's
out
my
the
struggle right
things
now.
that I'm down to do, or at what time I'm actually going to be down to do it without procrastinating. And yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? I think like because some people they'll like time block their whole week on like Mondays or something, but like I find that so hard to
What's
do
that?
because like it's like basically every Monday you have like a schedule for the whole week and you write
Oh, I
down
can
every
do
day
that.
like
I
what
can
you're
do
gonna
that.
do, or like they'll be like, okay, every day at like 1 o'clock I'm gonna do the same thing. But I find that that's so hard to like follow because every day there might be something new that you have to do, you
Yeah, but
know?
you see,
So
that's our
like
life though.
life is so unpredictable, like you can't be sure that you're going to
Yeah,
do the same
yeah, yeah.
exact thing every day. So I think Chris's method of like every night being like, okay, tomorrow I have this and then you work out like what you need to do between those things, I think that works a lot better because like I used to try to plan my week and like that just did not work. Like I would always end up failing and then just become disappointed and being like, oh fuck it, I'm not going to do anything then, you know, and like it becomes discouraging if
Yeah,
you keep like not following what you say you're going to do. So I find it makes more sense to do it. Like I've been doing it in the morning, like basically the same thing as Chris, but I'll wake up and I'll do it in the morning. But like I said, I've been having that habit of scrolling through my phone in the morning. So maybe I will do what Chris said and start doing it at night. But we'll
Also,
see.
also what you can do is ask, like, because me sometimes my mom needs certain things from me, or my dad, or even you, Sasha. So ask the people that might need something from you the night before. Also, do you think you're gonna need something from me? Like, so that's been working for me right now. They're not interrupting
Chris
me
was like,
because
what do you like what time do we have to do this? And I was like, I'm so tired. I don't even want to think about tomorrow. But like I get it. I get it. It makes sense.
yeah, just to avoid like people getting in the way of what you have to do.
see, I'm gonna start doing that though.
That isn't that good. Like, me
I'm
too. I
gonna
was like,
yo, I'm gonna tell my girlfriend like, what you need from me, and then afterwards like,
that's
because
it,
sometimes
bro.
it's to the point I remember like when you saw my coffee business, I used to like email all the customers and this and that. A lot of it wasn't automated, so it was like I would only like text her back at like 11, 12 p.m. When I still do that right now. You know, sometimes it's just like you're so in the zone that you just go throughout your day. But I think having something in place to say, okay, well, if you need me for a specific thing, I could be there, and then you block that off
Yeah.
for the day, and then I
Yeah.
think that's a better way of
Yeah,
like navigating instead of going with the flow.
facts. And even my friends, like I like there's two of my friends that I haven't seen in a long time and they're trying to chill. They keep trying to chill. And like one of the girls every day, like the same day that she wants to hang out, she's like, hey, what about tonight? And I'm like, I can't, like I cannot like I don't know, I don't like spontaneous. I mean, I like spontaneous stuff, but like I just can't physically like be there unless you tell me like 2 days before. Like it has to be at least 2 day
Yeah,
notice.
no, I agree with you. I agree with you.
And I'm just
We
like,
see,
what
I
the
think
hell?
we're
Like
so.
I just need to know like a couple days in advance and I'm good, you know, I'll be there. But like if they tell me the same day, I can't. Like it's just
We see we
it's
have so many
impossible.
different hats at the same time too, you know, and that's where it becomes the challenge because it's like it's not like okay, you leave work and then you have 8 hours,
Yeah.
7 hours to do whatever you want. It's like 24 hours in a day for me is not enough, guys. Like for me,
Me
if
too.
48 hours was considered a full day, alright, okay, I don't have an issue. But 24 hours, and sometimes it's like I crash on the table, I crash on the couch because it's like you're so exhausted that you don't
Yeah.
realize that you fall asleep because you have so many things to like cramp in the one week. So that's why, like you said, like trying to fit in people to your day or to your week is like you need I need at least a week's notice so I can like plan out my week
Yeah,
and then like
exactly.
actually
It's
like
too
make sure
much.
I'm not overwhelmed.
Yo, and you, Charlie, you sleep 4 hours a night, no?
Yeah, that's my average 4 or 5 hours.
That's crazy because I've been like, I try here and there to do it, but there's no way for me to do it. I'm on the opposite end. I need more than 8, 9 hours. Sometimes I need 10 hours. And today, this morning, I had slept 9 hours, and it felt like it wasn't enough.
Yes.
But I think my days have been going good recently because I've accepted that I run better when I actually don't fight how much sleep I need. So
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's
instead of
hard. That's
trying to do what other people are doing, everyone tries to sleep like 6 hours or something, or like they try to sleep as less as possible. I'm like, okay, how much do I actually need to sleep for my day to be like, then I'm fully focused during the day. Like I don't have
Yeah.
any headaches. I don't yawn. Like I'm full of energy, which I'm not usually. So I think,
Yeah.
yeah, stop trying to like,
everyone's different though. Everyone's really different.
exactly,
You have to
exactly.
find what's good for you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
because and I think for you, Chris, especially because you have systems in place, you could allow yourself to fall asleep for 10 hours, 8 hours, and do what's best for you. I think a
uh,
lot of people who work or who like Elon Musk said, like, oh, I only sleep like 5 hours, but Elon Musk is running
Yeah,
like a madman 24 hours a day.
yeah.
Compare that to Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos is like, oh, I sleep 9 hours for the last
That's
20
it.
years.
That's it.
So it really depends on like how many people you have delegating or how many people you have responsible for a certain task. And for me, like Chris said, like I sleep on 4 hours of sleep. I run on 4 hours of sleep, but best believe I'm yawning the entire day. I need at
Yeah,
least a
I can't
coffee
do that.
or
I
two a
can't.
day, and it's like I want to see what sleep is like when you sleep 8 hours and then afterwards you don't have any reason to take a power nap. Because if power nap wasn't a thing, I'd be struggling because I sleep 4 hours, but best believe I have my power nap throughout the day also.
I
But
can't
don't you think you'd be more productive if you slept more and you wouldn't be yawning or napping as much? Because
I
that's
don't
what I
know because
figured out
sometimes
recently.
sometimes I feel like if I sleep a lot, I feel sluggish. Like I feel lazy.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
too.
yeah.
that's why it's
I get
like
that too.
as if I
I get that
slept
too.
in.
Okay, okay, I get it. I
So
get it.
if I feel like I slept like 4 hours, I feel like okay, well, the juices are flowing and I can do more things. But if I feel like I'm too relaxed, then I don't feel like doing anything throughout the day.
But that's what I've discovered recently. The difference between letting your like you said, I feel sluggish or I feel like I've overslept. Um, when you actually plan it, when I allow myself to actually, okay, I'm gonna sleep 9 hours, so tomorrow I'm gonna wake up at this time, and then I'm gonna plan my day. Uh, then it feels like I didn't like oversleep. It just feels
Yeah,
like
facts.
it's planned into
Natural.
it. Yeah, and giving, I don't know, I found that giving sleep, it's the first time in my life I ever do this, but I just accept that, okay, I need more sleep. And I prioritize that, and that's how your day starts, is like with you waking up. So um yeah, if you can plan it, then yeah, because I don't hear anyone saying that be comfortable with how much you actually need to sleep. That everyone's trying to sleep like less hours or sleep 6 hours, or what's the minimum
Like,
that I can sleep and still be productive. But yeah, so I'm gonna try this method right now. I feel great. I feel good. I've been going to the gym. I've been eating well as well.
yeah, like if you're
Uh,
more productive because you actually have the energy or whatever,
yeah,
that's perfect. Like me, literally last night, I texted Chris and I was like, I am not sleeping. I'm gonna stay up till 5:30, like Charl. Like I literally said that last night because I was like,
yeah,
I had so many things to catch up on, and like the latest I could do was like 2 a.m. Like I cannot stay up past like I just get really tired at night. But like I think my default is like midnight usually when I sleep. So like trying to stay up till 5 just does not work for me. And like
Yeah.
my body always wakes up early. Like no matter like if I slept 4 hours, I always wake up early. I have the same thing where like if I sleep past basically if I sleep past like 9 p.m., I just feel tired. Like I feel sluggish. Even if I went to bed at like 2 a.m., I'll still feel tired. Or like I'll, like it just doesn't matter what sorry, if I go to bed earlier, I'll still feel tired. Like it doesn't matter what time really I sleep. I just always wake up at the same fucking time. Like I just can't sleep in. And yeah, but honestly, like for me, I just like I prefer a bit less sleep. I think my default is like 7 hours of sleep, like 7.5. But
I
everyone's
wish I
different. Like
could
everyone
sleep
will have a
less.
different amount of time.
Like I'm talking like this, but I actually wish I, because my days do feel shorter somehow, because I sleep a bit more.
Yeah, well, you are
Yeah,
sleeping,
but see,
so it makes sense.
but it's like finding that balance because like I don't know if people know, but there's a book called the 5 a.m. Club, and for me, like all the people who I study who like wake up early, all go to bed like
Yeah,
at 9, 10
yeah,
p.m.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that is the balance what I'm trying to figure out because I'm a night owl ever since university, college. Like I do my best work at night, so for me, doing actual work throughout the day doesn't go well for me. Like
Yeah,
sometimes I'll be looking at a chart that I start at like 9 p.m. because that's where I become more effective. Like during the day,
yeah.
too many distractions are around me, so I can't really focus on like my craft.
For me, if I want to wake up at 5, I have to sleep at 9. Or sorry, I have
Shit.
to sleep at 8. I'm serious, and so that
Like, that's
doesn't
too
that
early. Like I
that
like
doesn't
that's
work for me. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's never gonna work for me on a consistent basis. I'm sure I can do it once or twice, but consistently, it doesn't work for me. I'd rather wake up a bit later. I'm so
yeah.
grateful and blessed that I get to decide
Yeah.
when I can wake up and stuff like that. So I'd rather sleep a bit later and wake up a bit later. Then the opposite just doesn't work consistently, because let's say on a Thursday or a Friday night you go out, or you like no one's trying to sleep at 8 at our age. I feel
Yeah, facts.
like it's just hard to do consistently to sleep
Yeah,
at
you
8
know,
or
like
9.
when I used to try to sleep at like I literally my phone like notifies me at 9 p.m. saying like, hey, start getting ready for bed. But like people still text me until midnight sometimes. So it's just like
Yeah.
it's so hard for me to like sleep early when everyone is DMing me and texting me at midnight or like 1 a.m., you know? So like it's so true. I think it's just like people our age don't sleep early. So it's really hard to sleep early when a lot of people are messaging you and stuff at those times. But I think like the best time to sleep for me is like 11. Like I think 11 is a beautiful time. It's like not too late, not too early. But
Mhm.
even 11 is kind of early too, no? Don't you find? Like I find that's still early.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Sometimes it depends because again, if you go out with your friends or whatever, you're not going to be sleeping at 11.
Even if I go out, like I'm gonna be sleeping by midnight, like latest, guys. Like I don't know how people can stay up till 3 a.m. anymore. Like I don't know how the fuck I used
Bruh.
to do that. Like it actually makes me want to die thinking about doing that because of how like horrible it was. Like I just can't. I cannot do that. I'd rather be at home. Like I can't.
Bro, I'm happy. The maximum I figured out with my eating schedule, the maximum that I can sleep till is 11 or 12 the next day. So even if I were to go out until 2 or 3, I can allow myself to sleep until
Yeah,
12
that's
because then
good.
I can eat my like I can eat at 12 and it's not going to fuck up my next day,
Yeah.
like the day after. I mean. So, yeah, I don't know, just try to find a balance. For
Yeah,
that
yeah.
try to find something that works consistently, not something that you can do.
And for you, like not for anyone else, just for you. Like try out
Exactly,
different things,
exactly.
see what works for you. And because like Charl was saying, he's a night owl. Me, I'm a morning person. Like I really like to be awake in the morning, but I do sometimes get like a surge of energy at night. So I kind
Yeah.
of know what you mean, Charl. Like, but it depends on the
Yeah.
like what I did throughout that day. But I'm definitely more of a morning person, but I do agree that it's more distracting to work during the day than it is at night because at night nobody's bothering you
Yeah,
really.
no one's
Exactly.
texting you. Yeah.
So
Yeah, you
it's
see,
really
like
nice.
guys, you start your coffee at like 9:30, 10 p.m. You're there to like 3 a.m. And then if you have like an extra
Oh.
boost, then you're there to like 4. And sometimes like I make a sandwich or a snack like at 4:30, and I'm there to like 5:36. I crash out 8:30, then I go to work, and then that's my routine.
8:30. So that's
Yeah,
3
that's
Yeah, yeah,
a.m.
crazy.
yeah,
No,
yeah. But it
wait. So
depends the day because I have like a
okay,
power nap.
you
So like,
drink coffee at night.
oh my god, I drink coffee during the day. Like when I used to work, I used to drink
How
coffee.
many coffees do you have?
Well, now it's down to one, but like
Okay.
like when in university, I used to drink 3 coffees per day. Like one at
Mm.
9 a.m., one like at 4, and then one at 10. And they all used to be large coffees. So I used to be
Oh no.
like addict to coffee. Now like I really try to do at least one. If I do one, it's at night. I do one
Mm.
like at 9:30, 10, because it's gonna give me that
Yeah.
second boost of energy that I need.
I started having my coffee like later in the day. Like this is my first coffee and like I made it like an hour ago. And like I find it's actually nicer to have coffee in the like afternoon. Like because
Yep.
in the morning, I don't know, in the morning, like I just don't find it as good. But I like taking it in the afternoon. And then when I go to the gym at night, I always have pre-workout. So like I just can't sleep at night either. But like I prefer doing that than having it in the morning. I find it's just like I
That's
don't
the
know.
hack.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
find
drink
it
Like a
gives me
coffee.
coffee
like
around 4, gives you that second
honestly, Chris,
boost.
it's good that you don't drink coffee. Like it's such a horrible
But
addiction.
Oh
even
yeah,
when
I'm trying to cut
even
off.
when I do, it doesn't. I don't feel like it does anything to me. I drink black coffee, but maybe it's because I drink
Yeah,
it
I don't know
once
how
a
he does
day.
that.
No,
It
but
doesn't.
it's good
It doesn't
though.
feel like I do anything. But if I were to drink it at night, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to sleep.
Yeah, it
Because I'm
keeps you
talking.
up.
It gets to a point too. Is like, don't talk to me if I don't have a coffee. Like,
That's
yeah,
literally
yeah,
what I'm
because
becoming. I'm becoming like that. It's so bad.
because
Oh
I
shit.
remember I was like, yo, I even told this to my girlfriend. I'm like, yo, like we first started dating. I'm like, if I don't have a coffee and I become snappy, it's not because I don't like you. I don't fuck with you. It's just that, like, yo, if I don't have my coffee, you can't tell me nothing because mentally my brain isn't like awake yet. So once I have
Oh,
that
for
coffee, then we
real.
can have like a conversation. But if I don't
That's
have,
how I'm becoming. That's literally how I'm becoming. Like I'm becoming hangry, but for coffee. Like it's so bad.
yeah, like the
That
same way people describe like their addiction to like cigarettes, that's the same way I feel about coffee.
Oh my God, you're right. Like literally, that's so bad.
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
you
trying
guys
to
need
kill
to
that
stop
shit.
that shit then.
Yeah. I'm trying to change it to like people. Somebody told me like
Matcha?
a berry smoothie. No,
Oh,
Yeah,
a smoothie. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
we're
really
trying to save
good.
money over here. I said no, like a berry smoothie. Like if you put strawberries, blueberries, put like
Yeah, Chris
yogurt
makes the best
with
shakes.
milk.
Chris makes really good shakes, like protein
Yeah,
powder,
like
like oat
yeah,
and blueberries or something. It's so good.
Oh, I do make good shakes, but I feel
Yeah,
like
he
shakes
makes
are
the
so
best
easy
shakes.
to make.
Yeah, they really
yeah. But
are.
that's
Honestly,
why
so
like
good. Yeah.
anything with berries gives you an extra boost of energy. That's what I learned. I try to really go like a lot more natural these days instead of like looking for
Yo,
like five
so
hours Red Bulls, etc. Like
so when you
Oh,
when you eat when you eat typically you get like lazier or you get tired. So I always my first meal is always a shake. So I make a shake and that carries me for a while. Like if I wake up, let's say at 9, I don't eat until 12, which is when I have my shake. So I don't technically eat until 2 or 3 p.m. Um, and then I eat again twice up until 8 or 9 max. But that's it. Like I find that when you have a smoothie or a shake in the morning, it just you have more energy too in the morning
maybe
because
your
you're
body's
not
not trained to like
digesting.
digest it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So you're not digesting like let's say if you were to eat meat or anything else.
yeah, we see you're not sluggish because all of the natural sugars, and that's what people forget too. Like you're getting
Yeah,
carried by all the sodium, all the sugars, but when it's not natural, you automatically feel sluggish.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you're right.
it's I'm gonna try to implement that too.
Yeah, me
You
too. Like
should.
I used to do that a lot too, but then I stopped. But I want to start doing that too. And it's just healthier. Like it's a good way to get in like because a lot of people don't eat fruits and vegetables. Like people just don't
I
eat.
never understand that.
Oh, I was telling Sasha, I keep seeing these videos now that there's an actual order in which you should eat your food, um, to
Okay.
reduce what's it called? To reduce glucose something. Anyways, it's like there's a proper order of eating your meals. Let's say you're eating broccoli, chicken, and rice. Apparently, you should start always with the vegetables, then do protein, and then do the carbs. And I'm not like a professional. I don't know how to explain it, but apparently the vegetables will coat like your stomach first or something, and then yeah, I'm not going to try to explain it because I can't. I'm going to do it a disservice, but look into it because I think there is a proper and
Have you
right way.
noticed it like making a difference by
Yeah,
eating that
actually
way?
it actually it does. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like when I eat vegetables first and then I eat the protein and then I eat the carbs, uh, I feel like I have less issues with digestion and I feel
Damn.
less sluggish as well. So I've been doing that recently as well.
I'm so horrible. Like I always go straight to the rice. Like I love rice. So I always eat rice first. But that's like the last thing I should be eating. But
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm on a good vibe right now with my eating and everything because I'm trying to gain weight
You have to.
as yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I'm at the lowest I've ever been, I think, since like I've been more than this when I was in college. And so I'm just trying to get all my weight back. And I feel like now I'm finding I don't want to jinx it or anything, but the way I've been planning my days and stuff, I found a good balance that works for me. So, and I just feel overall better. I feel more energetic. I feel like my business is better because of it. And
Yeah,
my
but
even
it's
my
good.
ideas are clearer and I feel more
Oh, it's
productive and
true because
effective.
like your food directly like impacts your like brain fog and stuff like that. Like your brain can be like foggy if you're eating like bad foods and stuff. And like your diet directly impacts how your body will perform, obviously. And
100%.
I'm sure your brain as well. Damn, this has become like a nutrition episode.
No, but I just
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
make a quick point to Chris's point because a lot of people, like a lot of men, don't eat fruits and vegetables. Like
I'm telling you, no one,
and
people are like, I don't like vegetables. And I'm like, what is wrong with these people?
you
Yeah.
see, and like a lot of people, if you look at the testosterone levels in men, the lowest point has ever been in history. And it's
Wow.
like you aren't
Mm-hmm.
able to like develop your body in like if you look at the physique of men like in the 90s, like people like 16 have the same physique as men who are like 30 right now back in the day.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my
like Chris
God.
said, like you aren't having a well balanced diet, you aren't able to have creative thoughts. And it's like especially the way that food is being produced right now with a bunch of steroids, a
Mm,
bunch of non-GMO, etc. Food being
so
modified too, so you're all taking that into your system, it's all going to your psyche, and then you can produce the energy. So if your food is that you're eating is being stressed out, being full of a bunch of steroids in the system, and then you're digesting that too, it goes into your. I'm not trying to go all to that energy, but all that negative energy goes into your system, and if you're just sitting there and chilling, you just inhale what they put into your system. So
Facts.
that's why you aren't able to have any sort of production, because it's not normal that we have kids that like 11 years old that are fucking obese,
Yeah.
like
It's
obese.
so
Like it's not
bad.
even like, oh, you're a bit chubs, like yo, fam, like you obese. It's not normal.
No, no.
Oh no, we
Uh,
got called it out. I'm not trying to blame the parents, but shit, like remember Dora the Explorer had a little pot. Not if it was Dora the Explorer 2022, but me all the way up here, bro.
yo.
No, but it's true. Like it's actually really bad. Like they're like I think I read somewhere. I don't remember the percentage, but basically like most of the leading like I guess the cause of all of the current diseases and stuff like diabetes and everything, it's literally caused by your diet and by obesity. And it's like it's just so sad. Like how the fuck did this happen? And obviously I know how it happened because like McDonald's and look at all of our commercials. Like I was watching TV the other day and like it's been so long since I watched TV on like a cable, and I was looking at the commercials and I was like, that day I was like trying not to eat unhealthy, and I kept seeing like Wendy's and like McDonald's commercials and stuff, and I was like, why the fuck is this like so normal when we know that this is why people are literally fat and dying? Like it's just so sad. Like
Yeah,
it's
but it's all marketing, because even the saying that says breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Who said that? Like,
That,
where is
for
there?
real, I
Where is
don't.
that
bad.
I don't.
proven that it says that? And it's like, okay, valid. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Have a banana. Have an apple. Since when does cereal become healthy?
Yeah,
Yo,
cereal's the
cereal
biggest
is
Like
scam.
Frosted Flakes.
trash.
Rice Krispies, Fruit Loops, a bunch of sugars in your system that
That's
And I
literally
was
the
that kid. I was that kid Saturday morning, 8 a.m. Cartoon Network, 4 bowls of cereals, and that was my breakfast. And then I was going to sleep.
Facts.
You know, and like when you think about all this like diagrams and this and that,
Yes.
you had civilizations years and years and years and years living, eating properly. And all of a sudden, we have a food diagram where shit, you're supposed to have a bowl of cereal, you're supposed to have your cheese, and all of it's like marking. So that's why, like, when
Yeah,
you
it's a
look to
product.
see, yeah, you know, and it's like when we look to see what you intake in your system, look at the history of where it came from, because some of it is just made up so the companies can make a lot of money. And if you look at the biggest companies in the world, most of them own most of the
Yeah, they're all
processed food.
connected. Guys, there's a documentary on Amazon Prime. It's literally called Why Are We Fat? And it's a guy from New Zealand who was, I think he's like actually I don't remember who he is, but he basically he gained a lot of weight and he was like diagnosed with diabetes, I think type 2 diabetes. And so he did this whole documentary about like how everything in the grocery store has sugar in it. And he was saying
Yeah,
that
Hmm.
a couple of years ago, maybe in the 80s or something, they were like everyone was saying like, oh my God, fats are evil, like avocados and like I guess like egg yolk has a lot of fat in it. So they're saying like all of these natural healthy fats were evil, and that's why people are being fat, or that's why people are becoming fat. And I don't know if you remember, but like when we were growing up, people used to say like in the diet magazines, they would be like, oh, don't eat fats. Fats are bad for you and stuff. And like, anyways, apparently they used to eat, they used to say, oh, snack on like sugar to cut your cravings for fat. And so that's how the sugar addiction started, is because they used to recommend it, and the guy showed like screenshots of what they used to recommend, and they used to be like, oh yeah, just like snack on a little candy to like cut your craving, so you're not eating like all of these fats and maybe carbs, I guess, too. And he was like, that's why they started adding sugar in everything, because they know everyone's addicted to sugar now. And he went to like a grocery store, and you guys, if you guys try this too, like if you pay attention to the nutrition labels, you'll see in pasta there's like sugar added in like random
yeah,
things
glucose,
that are not
fructose.
sweet. There's
Yeah,
not supposed to be sugar in all of these things, and it's not even just cereals, it's like actual things that are not supposed to be sweet. There's literally sugar in everything, and they're doing it because they know that it tastes better if they put a bit of sugar, and they
Yeah.
know that we're addicted to sugar. Like they know
Sugar
they
is a
know
drug, bro.
it's literally like
yeah,
like
but
people are
even
starting
like
to say to
corn syrup
realize.
isn't supposed to be in most foods. But if you look at your nutrition label, you're gonna see a bunch of corn syrup, glucose,
Yeah, it's
all
the
added to
worst.
it.
And it's
You
so
know?
cheap for
Also,
them to make. It's so bad.
on Netflix, there was a documentary called The Game Changers. I was Googling it now because I forgot the name. But yeah, that documentary is crazy. It shows you how there's a lot of athletes who are plant-based, so they don't eat meat, but they're just, the documentary just shows how the whole food industry is marketed towards consuming meat, and how it's even in the advertisements, how it makes you like between guys, like, oh, you can't eat
Ah,
plant-based because like you're a
Yeah,
pussy if you eat
you're a
plant-based
guy,
and stuff
yeah.
like that.
Like you're supposed to be
Yeah,
eating steaks and meat and stuff.
but
but
it's a crazy
and those
documentary. Like it shows you how plant-based is the way to go. I'm not sure if everything in it is facts, but just if you've been wondering about plant-based stuff, I'm not plant-based, but it was a crazy documentary. Like it made me consider being plant-based. Um, but then just being plant-based is hard when you live with people who aren't, and even you, like
no,
you've grown
you
up
see,
your whole life.
I'm the motherfucker. I won't apologize for it. I like a fucking good steak,
Nah, but
like a
that's what
good
I'm
steak, a
saying. Me
nice
too.
wine.
Like,
I
yeah,
can't do it. I can do that switch.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I
But
yeah.
think
even
even
if you look at like Beyond Meat, if you like
it's
look at like the nutrition label,
that's some
it's not
bullshit.
is worse for you
It's
than the
actually
actual burger.
bullshit. It's actually
You know,
bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so people have to be careful when they, I won't say program, but when you look at like the market aspect of it, yeah, you really have to look at it from a nutritional standpoint. And like for
Yeah.
us, I'd love to have like a doctor or a nutritionist on the show, so like we can actually like,
Oh,
go into it to
Yeah.
like
Yeah. So that'd be
actually
really
help
cool.
people have like a healthy diet, because it's like, oh, I know people don't even like orange juice. I'm not saying like orange juice is the best thing you could consume, but it's like where the fuck you get your sugars from? Like, I'm that dude who takes like vitamin C. You take all your vitamins if you don't have the natural intake. But like Sasha said, people don't even eat fruits. People don't even like bananas. Or
Yeah.
you're judged for eating a banana in public. It's sus if you eat a banana in public. So like,
Or like eating fruits is like a girly thing. Like I don't understand what's happening to this world. Like it's so fucked up. But it's so true about vegan food. Like a lot of vegan packaged I think the best thing you can do in life is just eat non-packaged foods. So I think being vegan is really good in the sense that a lot of the foods that you're going to eat are not packaged, but now that the veganism is becoming so popular, like
yeah, it's
so many
becoming
companies
processed
are
too.
making processed packaged
yeah,
shit, which
So
is
even
like
that is becoming a marketing thing as well. It's a product too
yeah,
that they're trying to sell to
yeah,
people
and
to
it's
make
so
people
money.
bad.
need to realize that we are running out of water. Like if you look at the world's like from a global standpoint, like a lot of drinking water won't be accessible. And I don't have a crystal ball. I'm not that so raven, but there will be a war over water, because it's to the point where how are you able to grow fruits and vegetables? That's why you look at, or you have a lot of companies looking to see how they're able to process or modify fruits and vegetables. Because if you go to Costco, avocado is not supposed to be this big.
Yeah,
It's yeah,
facts.
facts.
Avocado is not supposed to
And
be this
yeah.
big.
Facts. Most of the
Like
fruits
I
aren't
went to
supposed to be that big.
Caribbean's. I, I went to Caribbean's. You see avocados this big. The fucking avocados from come from Mexico. They're not supposed to be this big. You know, you have corn that's like modified to this point, but like a normal corn, or even like the corpse of corn. You guys remember back in the day, like as soon as June will come, we will have like corn in the grocery store.
Hmm.
Now it's hard to even find corn that's accessible in the grocery store.
True. I've noticed that too. Yeah, you're right.
You know, because it's the corn that are drying out. So a lot of the things that we used to eat at a high rate, even honey is not expensive because of inflation. Honey is expensive because of the lack of bees. There's a lack
Yeah.
of bees producing honey, which is why it's more expensive to
Yeah, honey is
produce it,
really
which is why it costs
expensive.
more.
Damn, I didn't know about that.
Honey is $10 for a small jar.
Yeah, like literally, like a tiny jar is like $10. Like literally 10.99 or
You know,
something.
so a shout to the beehive, but we're running out of actual feasible bees. So that's why like you have to do research, and that's why I think it was episode 2 or whatever. I started was producing my own garden, not because I wanted to be this hippie type person, but I'm like, if I could cut some of the shit they're producing in the grocery store and know that it's freshly made, then
Yeah.
I'm good. Like my goal is to be able to buy farmland and grow my own crop for my whole family, and then that's it. And then I sell the rest to people in need.
Yeah.
Yo, do you guys think when our ancestors found the beehive in the forest, that was like a cake for them?
Of course,
Yes.
of
Because
course.
it's like
Yeah,
full.
they were
Yeah.
probably like, holy shit. Like, have you ever seen the actual like bee? What is it called? It's like a thing and you can
The
bite into it.
honeycomb.
Yeah,
The comb.
yeah. I'm sure that they picked that up and were like, what is this? And it's so sweet. Imagine like that the first person who found it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They're
Oh
probably
shit.
in heaven. Like, what the fuck did we just find? Because it's actually crazy to think that honey is like completely natural. And maple
Yeah, it's
syrup too, literally comes from
You know,
trees.
shout out
Isn't
to
that?
maple
yeah,
syrup. That's a big business. That's a big
Yeah.
business.
For real, for real.
But speaking of myths, we spoke about nutritional myths. Now let's talk about this money myth.
And
Because
this episode is like a whole nutrition
Yeah,
episode.
what did this episode turn into? Like, how did we
but
get here?
for real, we'll get a doctor or like an actual
We need
nutritionist
to
on the
have
show
like
because it's
a.
like
We're gonna
Eventually,
have
yeah.
a dedicated episode to this for sure, and we'll
yeah,
have
because
someone
it's becoming
professional.
epidemic. It's an actual
Literally,
epidemic.
it's an actual epidemic. Facts.
Okay,
Anyways,
But
so
moving on.
before we change topics, I just want people to Google how much farmland Bill Gates bought during the pandemic. He bought the most farmland during the pandemic. It is not because he wants to become a farmer. There is a food crisis that's going to happen in a couple of years. And this,
mhm.
you know who produces the most sugar? Ukraine.
Oh,
They produce the
really?
most sugar, the most wheat. So
Oh,
if they're going at war right now, pasta, bread, all these things that we're normally purchasing at grocery stores are going to be even more expensive or they won't be produced.
yeah.
So people have to be prepared to what's to come because it's when 2023, but some of the impacts that we're going to see are only going to be 2024, 27, 28. So people have to do the research and look to see what's the best interest in their family.
Wait, you think
Yeah.
the war has to do with Ukraine? You think it plays a role
No,
that they?
no.
Oh, okay, okay. It's
I
just
think the war is
coincidence.
about real estate and having
Yeah,
more
yeah,
land, but
yeah.
the biggest producer of wheat. So if they're
Oh,
too
okay.
too
And
busy
then
fighting
also,
wars and putting money
yeah.
over there, nobody's in the farmland producing actual wheat.
Yeah, okay, okay, okay. All right. So money myths. What was it, Charlie? You wanted to talk about a money myth?
Yeah, because I think a lot of times growing up, we hear things that we're supposed to do wear money or wear credit, and you get to a certain age and you realize like, shit, I was like told a lie my whole life. You know, if I would have knew this, I would have done that. You
So
know, and a
true.
lot of people take advice on people who haven't made it or haven't made good decisions with their money also. So you're just doing a chain reaction of poor negative information, and then afterwards you're asking or you're putting people in debt or you're putting people in bad financial situations because you just intook the information without making your own verification. So
Mhm.
I think if we could provide a context to people saying, okay, there's a different way of looking at it, hopefully some people take action and try course correct or provide people the proper information as well.
Yeah, facts.
So
Does
one
someone
of
want to
my
start?
biggest money
Okay.
myths that I had is looking to buy a dream home before buying investment property. You know, because
Oh, facts.
I think a lot of us in our 20s, when we were younger, we're like, okay, I'm gonna have a house, I'm gonna have a wife, I'm gonna have a husband, I'm gonna have a kids, I'm gonna go on vacation or two. You know, but it's like it's easier to buy investment property than it is to buy a single family home. And the
Yeah,
reason
that's
for it is because the bank looks at the earned income as protection. Like I mentioned in the episode 4 of our real estate episode,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
the bank's job is to reduce their risk. So
Mhm.
if you're the only person buying a $700,000 house, and let's say you and your wife both make 50K, you guys make 100K. If one of them loses their job, it's hard to cover their mortgage. So I was able to buy investment property working part time, making less than $35,000 a year, and I was 23 at the time. But because I had income coming in, the bank qualified me, and I had a good credit history, of course. The bank qualified me for to be able to buy investment property.
Yeah.
If I had the same profile trying to buy a house at $700,000 all by myself, I'll probably get declined. You know, so that's why.
Mm.
And if I was, let's say, if I buy another property, if I only had one property, the investment property could then pay for my dream home also. So I think switching that mindset to say, okay, well, instead of buying my dream home first, let me, like we always say, have assets in place that pay for my dream home, my dream vacation, my dream car, etc.
Yeah, it's so
That's
true.
true.
I can't believe that it's so true. That's how we all grew up. Like I never even knew that I could buy property for rental purposes, you know? So like it's so
Yeah.
crazy that it's like backwards. Like why is it backwards? It should be the other way around, you know?
There's another one. There's the what was it? Say no. Oh yeah. Oh, the savings account. Holy shit.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
shit is the biggest lie I've ever,
Oh,
and
fuck.
it's sad because
That's for
like
sure.
for me, my mom, she didn't, God bless her, she didn't know better, so she thought that the savings account was the right thing to do. But because as immigrants, if you didn't learn it on your own here, then no one was gonna tell you. Um,
Yeah.
so the savings account is literally the worst thing you can ever do, unless it's for your emergency fund and you have an emergency fund of cash that you never touch and it's just there for emergency purposes, and you want it to be, instead of in a checkings account, to at least be in a savings account, then fine. But if you think that a savings account is going to multiply in any form, then you're completely you've been completely misled,
Yeah,
because yeah, it's
you,
just
you,
not true.
and Chris said an interesting point, especially coming from like an immigrant background. We were the fresh meat to the market. You
That's
come
right.
off the boat, you have no idea about the Canadian banking system or the American
That's
banking
right.
system. And, my parents came at a young age, they were 10, 11, whatever. You go through the university process, it's not normal that you get in charge 8% interest for a student loan because you don't know anybody. You just say, oh, I got free money. Let me
Hmm.
take it. But you get in charge 8%, 10%. And for people who don't know, a savings account is actually meant for the bank to make money. That's the money they use to
Agreed.
give me a loan for my mortgage. That's the money they give a loan to do a car loan, etc. And that 2%, that 10 cents, that's the money left over after they pay themselves. So that's why you get charged with fees when you take your own money out to pay something, because that money is used to give it to someone else who the bank makes money off the interest off. So that's why, like Chris said, if it's not for emergency funds, there is legit no point of having a savings account unless you have a short-term goal which requires you to save up. I'm not saying
Yeah.
a savings account is not
Yeah.
a good tool. It teaches you discipline to say, I'm gonna put X
Yeah.
money
To say, yeah.
over there. But instead of giving the bank interest money, you could make yourself interest by putting that money in the TFSA. Like we said, go to episode 2 or episode 3. We talk about index funds and the best index fund to buy. Well Simple.
Yeah.
Well Simple
Yeah.
sponsor us, please. And that's where it's really to the point where Chris said you have to look at your goals. But a lot of people have 50K, 70K, 80K. I saw this girl that had $500,000 in her savings account,
Yeah. In a savings account, that's
Oh my
fucking crazy.
god.
and she was
A
legit.
waste.
And I'll tell people, whichever bank, think IBC, take CIBC, take TD. I get more money owning the stock and having dividend income than you do in your savings account.
Yeah.
You could have
100%.
$10,000 and you have 20 cents or $2 of interest. I own one share, I got minimum $3 of dividend income that comes in my pocket. So that's where
Yeah.
you have to like retrain your brain to say, okay, well, let me be investing instead of just being consumed
But
upon.
it's because when we were young, like everyone used to say, "Oh, investing is like scary and risky and blah
Yeah.
blah
Yeah.
blah."
But exactly that too. It's for me. It was my parents too that say the stock market
Yeah,
is
like when I
risky.
was younger, I had this one friend, and like his parents were like, I think it was his grandmother that was like investing a lot, and like someone mentioned it, and I was like, oh, like I'm so interested, and I was asking questions, and like my friend had no idea, like we were in high school, so like none of us really knew what it was, but I remember being like so intrigued, but like nobody could really answer my questions at the time, so like I kind of just was like, okay, well, I guess it's not for me, but like it's just like it's so crazy how like we're told so many times that like, oh, it's risky and blah blah blah. And I mentioned in one of the other episodes that like I went to a bank once and I was like, I want to put my money somewhere like in a mutual funds, I guess is what they recommended, but like they kept saying like, oh, it's like risky if you take this one, blah blah blah. But like if I would have just known that it's so easy to invest money like
Yeah.
generally safely, like I don't like I haven't had any experiences where I felt like it was unsafe. And if I would have just known, oh my god, like I'm telling you, it's crazy. Like I'm trying to convince like my siblings to like start putting their money on Wealthsimple too, because I'm like one of my sisters, she's like becoming really good at saving money and stuff, but like I'm like, put your money into investments, like stop putting it into a savings account. So I'm trying to convince her I think she started on Wealthsimple a bit, but it's so crazy how like we're taught that it's something that's so scary and risky and like dangerous and blah blah blah. It's
Yeah,
horrible.
because people are saving hoarders, and like people don't realize is that you're actually losing money every single day that you leave your money in savings
Facts.
accounts.
Yeah.
Like let's say for example, if you have $10,000 in your savings account and you have inflation that hits the account, your $10,000 could legit have $8,000 worth of spending power.
Yeah,
So
that's
you
so
legit lost 2K,
so
and
fucked
that's
up.
why people don't wrap their head around it because they're like, "Oh, my 10K is still 10K," but you won't be able to buy the same things at $10,000 that you did
Exactly.
Hmm.
2 years ago, 5 years ago.
100%. Yeah.
And economics, they have something called opportunity cost. And basically, what it is the cost of not doing something. So, at a young age, if you're under the age of 35, you need to ask yourself, what is the cost I'm going to have if I don't invest? Not what's
Yeah.
going to happen if I do invest, what's going to happen if I don't invest. And for me,
Yeah,
it's riskier for me not to invest than it is to invest in the stock market.
that's a
Yeah,
fact.
that's
And
fact.
that's why people have to like wrap their head around it.
You should never be lazy with your money or afraid to learn new things. You need to unlearn everything you've been taught and then relearn the the correct way of hand
Yeah.
because like we've been saying, the savings account is just the bank's way of taking advantage of people who are lacking information. But in 2022, it should never happen where you don't have you everyone has access to the same information. If you have YouTube, you have access to all of this information. So it shouldn't happen that you would be putting money in a savings account in the hope of
And growing,
making,
like
yeah, of it growing. It's
Yeah.
not going
You
to
know,
happen. It doesn't
and
happen.
like you're saying, 2022, there's no reason why you should have more money in the savings account than you do in your investment account. Like you
No
got money
way.
in your savings. I'm not saying not to have a savings
Yeah,
account,
yeah, yeah.
but make sure that at least you have more money being invested
facts.
than you do savings. Because for me, my job is to study the market, look for the best CEOs, and give them my money. Because
Yeah,
I know Jack Dorsey gonna make me money. I know Tim Cook gonna make me money. You know, and that's why I'm not worried about the market. Because for me, I'm not the smartest person in the world, but I'm smart because I give my money to the smartest people in the world, and
yeah.
that's the only thing you have to do for you to make money long term.
As of right
Because
now,
the market's rigged to stay up.
do you guys have money in a savings account? I have $0 in a savings account.
I have $0. I
Guys,
have
my
$0.
savings account is my money in my checkings account. Like that's my savings account.
You see, I
Yeah,
tell
yeah,
people,
But like it's not a lot of money. Like I don't leave. I literally don't leave a lot of money in my checkings
yeah.
account.
Me
Like
too.
I
I
think
have
it's
like
no.
I'm
important
not.
to have like money that's accessible all the time, just in case something comes up. Because like, if for example you put all your money into investments or like crypto, whatever the hell, like whatever it
Then
is,
you
and then
don't
like
have access to
yeah, you
cash.
have a
Yeah,
bill
Yeah,
randomly or like something comes up and you're like, shit, I need to pay for my car, and you don't have
yeah,
access to that money until like 3 to 5 business days, you're fucked. So I think it's important to have like accessible money that you can use for emergencies. But like to me, that's a low number. Like that's like 3K. Like
you see,
for
like
me,
for me,
like I don't have an emergency fund really. It's my money that I keep in my checkings account. That's my like savings.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
I have my all of my other money goes straight to my investments, and like I don't
yeah,
touch that money.
because for me, I think like when everything's like rolling and everything like automated and everything, like I'll have 10K in my checking and whatever I have the need for, I'll just be there, and I'll
That's
always
it.
have 10K in my account for
That's
whatever.
it.
But I think that especially being in your mid 20s, I'm doing myself, my kids, my parents, my grandparents a disservice if I don't put every single dollar I have in the market. Even if it's $20, I can't keep it in my account. Like during the pandemic, I was living off $50 a week, $40 for my gas, $10 for my coffee. After that, I was investing the rest because it's
That's
to the
good.
point where there's like Sasha said, and I was that dude who had that emergency that like you like shit,
Yeah,
But for me, like I know what the market's gonna do, and this is the period, especially with the recession coming soon. This is the time when millionaires and billionaires, and they came out with a list of the top or the crypto billionaires the first time it came out. You know, you could find the best coin, the next coin, and Ethereum, Bitcoin, are all out goodwill right now. So why the fuck would I put money in my savings account where I could buy Bitcoin, Ethereum,
facts.
build
Facts.
my
Yeah,
equity, build my portfolio, and then afterwards ride that wave for reaching 50K. Even if it doesn't reach 100K, if it reaches 45, for example,
yeah.
you nearly doubled your money.
But people are still afraid. Like people are still afraid to invest. They're still afraid of.
It's a
They're
lack
still
of
afraid of
information.
crypto.
We've spoken
Yeah,
about it in
I
a
but
had
few
a guy like I
episodes.
had someone reply to my story once saying like, "Oh, Sasha, be really careful with crypto," and da da da. And I'm just like it's just there's a lot of people that still don't know that it's okay to invest, and
but
like they
you
don't know.
think
Maybe it's just because they don't know how to do it safely. I don't know, but
Bro,
like
no?
everyone
I'm gonna go
in
deep.
okay, go ahead. I was about to
I
go.
think people
well,
aren't worth. I think people don't think they're worthy of being wealthy.
Wait, what?
I
Say
think
again?
that's
people
the point.
aren't don't wrap their head or don't feel like worthy of being wealthy.
Oh, yeah, yeah, for sure. For
Yeah,
Because
sure.
like for me, I believe I'm gonna be a millionaire. Like
me
there's
too.
no doubt in my brain like I'm gonna make it.
Me
But
Yeah.
too.
some people
I'm
don't
100%.
believe they have the ability to make money or don't believe they deserve to make money.
Yeah,
And
it's
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 like
actually true. It's very
is
true.
that is that mental block that you have to say shit. I know the information, I know what to do, but I just can't do it because like I feel like I belong in this environment,
Mm-hmm.
or I don't know what I'll do when I have the money, and that's why I think it
Yeah.
blocks a lot of people from being able to
Or they
invest.
just they've never seen anyone do it, so they think like they're putting these like limitations on themselves because they're
Yeah,
like, oh well, that's not achievable because I don't know anyone personally who has done this, or my parents never did this, or like they don't know anyone who's ever like done it, so they just don't think that it's actually possible, so they're putting those limitations on themselves. So yeah, that's really true. Like I'm sure a lot of it roots to that. It's kind of sad. But anyways, I'm sure like you just have to be, I think, surrounded by the right people, because I like at the end of the day, it's like if you're not going to learn it from people like your family and stuff, like you need to surround yourself with people that are talking about these things. And I guess that's, some people just might not ever realize it throughout their whole life, but then the people who really like want to make a change in their life, I think they'll make an effort to kind of
yeah.
find people that will help guide them in that direction, and then they'll eventually learn those things. I think that's the
Yo,
best.
every time I see I've shared it once to my story, Steve Harvey on Instagram, like a reel of him talking about grasshopper or some sort of insect that can jump high.
Oh
You
yes,
guys know what I'm
yeah,
talking about? Yeah,
yeah.
that every time I see that, because I've seen it several times, it hits me every time. So basically,
Yeah,
Charlie, if you haven't seen
it's
it,
so good. Explain it. Yeah.
it's he says, let's call it grasshopper because I'm not sure which insect it is, but if you there's grasshopper, they have a 36-inch vertical jump, so they can jump 36-inch. But let's say you put that grasshopper in a lid that's only 10 inches. He's gonna
Okay,
jump,
yeah, yeah.
hit the ceiling, and then fall back down, and then he's gonna adjust to never hit that ceiling again. So he was only gonna jump 9 inches, and then that grasshopper is gonna have kids. And those kids are born with the ability to jump 36 inches, but because they see their parents jump only 9 inches, that's how far they'll jump as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that hits me every single time
Yeah, it's
because
like putting like a lid on like your potential, I guess. Like yeah, me
literally
too. Like, when I
facts.
heard that, I was like, holy fuck. We need to
Because
like
there's,
insert that clip.
bro,
Because you see,
there's no way anyone in the on this planet. I mean, some people have certain advantages, but if you see
For
anyone
sure.
who's done anything that you want to do and you believe that you're not able to do it, you're basically saying that that person is better than you. But that, if you look at it objectively, is completely false. Like
Yeah.
maybe some people have better advantages in some places, but you have everything. If you have a working body, a working mind, then you have everything that's required to do great things in this life. And you are stopped simply by your beliefs and your environment mainly.
but you
So
see, I think that as a society, we don't put like I hear what you're saying, but we don't put the same energy when it's time to show these types of people because there's a bunch of people doing great things, investing in themselves, employing people, providing
yeah.
employment to the economy, etc.
Hmm.
But we give more followers and more clout to these like bully influencers, the
Yeah, to
BBLs, the
dumb
gym
shit.
rats, etc. Than
Yeah.
we do than the actual normal person. Nah, because I'm being dead ass because it's not normal. And shout to Jen Selter. No, it's not normal that Jen Selter has 1 million plus followers, but Chris Johnson's giving game every single day. Got what 100,000, 200,000, and that's why like
But yo,
we say they haven't been exposed to it. I valid,
it's the
Yeah.
way
but
social
look what they
media
consume exactly.
it's the way social media rewards certain things, and we've seen it with our own reels that we make.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah,
OnlyFans
Yeah.
one was the one that sort of got the most traction because we're talking about dumb shit. But
yeah,
all the
Yeah.
other ones where we're talking about actual real life things, they don't get as much traction because it's either not entertaining enough, or the algorithm doesn't promote it as much because people aren't watching that as much. Um,
mm-hmm.
so yeah, it depends. I wonder who makes or how the algorithms work with social media. Why are the stupid things rewarded? Like why are
Because
girls,
more
like I
people
sent you
like
guys?
more people are entertained by that, I think, than
There
some
you
people.
go.
Yeah.
People just want to blank out like serious things, or
There you
like if
go.
someone just had a long day of work, like, do you really want to hear us talking, oh guys, you need to start investing, rather than a bunch of girls laughing talking about their sex lives or something? Like, wouldn't that
Yeah.
be more entertaining for you if your brain is like, you're burnt out, you're tired, and you're like, I don't want to have to hear someone telling me to do something, I just want to like laugh, basically.
See,
So like,
I'm
I
about to
I
go on
get
a
it,
rant
I get
though,
it.
because these are the fucking same people. I won't talk too close to the mic. These are the same people that complain about that financial situation. Like I hear you,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's like we're in this society where it's like, okay, everybody wants to be rich, everybody wants to have clout, whatever. Valid.
yeah.
But like you need to do the work. It's not coming from God knows. People are like, I'm a man, I'm a manifest this shit. You know, and like I'm gonna get to a 6 figure conversation. Like people want like people just want a lifestyle. But when you know what comes with the work it takes to actually have 6 figures, like could you guys please tell the audience or the viewers how many hours you guys worked before you guys reached 6 figures?
Oh
Bro,
yeah.
Like
it's a level of work, and this is not bragging in any ways. It's just a level of work that I had never imagined before in my life. It's not as easy, or it's long. It's long. That's to answer your
Yeah,
questions. It's really
yeah.
long in terms of hours that you have to put in to actually build something of value. Yeah, it's a sort of work that if you don't have it yet, it's because you've never put in that sort of work in your life. Or
Yeah.
if you're not on that path, then that means that you just don't know how much work is actually required. But once
yeah,
you
you
start
know,
doing
and
it, and if you don't give up, if you keep going every single time, because you're faced with the choice of giving up almost every single day. And if you always choose to not give up and you keep going and going and going, you'll realize how much actually goes into building anything that's going to generate
yeah,
financial
Yeah.
freedom for you. And then you realize, okay, maybe I'm not gonna ever have it in this lifetime as much as I see other people that already have it, because of, for them, it's come from other or previous generations in their family where that change happened maybe through their grandfather or the guy before that. And for us, it's happening now. And maybe I'm
mhm,
not going to be the one that's going to get it, but my kids are, or my kids' kids will, because now what my kids are going to learn is very different from the things that I was
Oh,
taught.
fuck. Yeah.
So,
yeah, you know,
yeah.
and let me just give a round of applause because it's like I don't feel sorry for people now because people are meant to be poor. And like I'm gonna be blunt as fuck. People are supposed to be like no, because not everybody can make 6 figures. Like let's be real. Like not
I
everybody
think,
wins the championship, and it was such in a culture was like participation trophies for everybody that we forget there is a separation between the winners and the losers. And I'm not saying you can't have a good quality of life, but the type of level that Chris is talking about is that you have this ultra focus for 10 plus years of like this is my destiny, this is what I'm gonna see. And he
mhm,
said it. He might not be able to benefit from what he's doing right now. How many people say if you tell him you're gonna be reach X amount, but you might not be able to spend it? Oh, okay, I'm out. This is too much work. You
yeah,
know,
Yeah.
it's like I don't have kids. I'm not planning on having kids anytime soon. I
me
have a
too.
portfolio for my kids right now that's
That's
generating
the
money.
thing. So understanding and sacrificing what you're gonna have in this life is a step as well. Like it's crucial, because like you said, some people might just give up when you tell them you're not going to be the one benefiting from this. But me, I've understood that it might never be me, but it's definitely going to be my kids or my kids'
Yeah,
kids. That's for sure.
yeah,
So
because I think that was such in a and you see that's a myth too that like everybody's supposed to have success. Like some people pick their spouse, people pick their job based on the earning potential. I'm not saying that that's a strategy that some people use, but at the same time too, there is more than that. There's more than a person than just the actual like earning potential, that income. Because it's like okay, well, there's a whole mental aspect that comes into it. Because at least for me, like I said, like some people don't feel worthy. I had to tell myself that like it, I stopped using the word if. It's I will, because just that
yeah.
mental switch
Facts.
allow me to progress a lot faster and saying, oh, it might be in the question. No, it's gonna happen. I don't know when, but it will happen. And that's
Hmm.
where a lot of this is a lot of mental training, a lot of mental development, reading books, learning from other people who've been there. And I think that there's a component of mental train that goes into this also.
You know how you said it's not for everyone? I sort of disagree with that. I think it's there for anyone. It's there for anyone. If you have a working mind, a working body, it's there for you. But so anyone could technically do it, but you just
100%.
have to be prepared to put in the 10,000 hours and to do all the sacrifices that come with it. So
I agree with you. I agree.
yeah, because for me, 23-year-old Chris was not supposed to have any of this. And then something happened, a few things happened, and then my mindset changed completely. And now I'm building things. Um, so that's why for me, I believe that anyone can do it. It's because
Yeah,
I knew where I was before and I know where I am now, and it's completely different.
we see. But look, you guys been grinding since the pandemic. Things are now coming into a place where like, okay, well, I'm seeing like the work that I did in 2020 pay off, and
Yeah.
some
Yeah,
people are like such in a mindset where it's like, if I don't get rich or if I don't see results in 30 days, I'm out.
I'm out.
That's why I'm like, it's not for everybody because, a lot of people will say, oh, yo, Cristiano Ronaldo's my favorite player, Kobe Bryant's my favorite player, Michael Jordan's my favorite player, etc. Like Chris said, it's a mastery. It's 10 hours plus or
Yeah.
10 hours minimum
10,000
just
hours.
to practice all this and to master it. So it's not just it's God willing or this and that. Yes, is there a component of luck, etc. 100%. Everybody's able to do it, but not everybody's gonna complete the finish line.
Mhm.
I think some people just don't think it's worth it to like I always explain to people when I'm explaining what owning a business is like. I say like when you work a job, you work for a week and then you get paid at the end of the week. But with a business, it's like you're gonna work for I don't know, 8 months, 9 months, 10 months until you actually start seeing it depends on the business, I guess, but you're gonna work a couple of months with no results like for all of those months and then eventually things are going to start picking up and a lot of people don't think that that's worth it. Like a lot of people will like maybe I don't know, maybe they've never like been able to push themselves that far so they don't understand that the rewards could be much larger. But I think because the rewards are not necessarily guaranteed, like they've never I guess done it before so they don't really know, they think that it's not worth it because they're like, well, if I have a job that pays me at the end of the week and I don't have to work, more than I should, why would I do that? So I think some people like it's not for them in the sense that they just don't think that it's worth the risk. And I think that's like, I don't know, because I used to maybe think that way a bit too. Like I would be at a job and I was like, well, my job is gonna kind of guarantee me money. And it was like I'm gonna get the money at the end of this week. Whereas like I don't know, it's kind of hard to like switch your mindset to like, I mean, it doesn't have to even be a business, but like that's what I'm kind of thinking of because a business is a way that you can make more money, I guess, easier than working extra jobs. But it's like some people just don't think that that sacrifice or like working those extra hours with no rewards is worth it. And like, I don't know that like I think a lot of people because I speak to people sometimes and they're like, oh well, I just don't ever want to have a business or like I don't ever want to work a special kind of job and they're I guess kind of comfortable with that like life. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. I think there's just some people that don't think it's worth it.
Here,
But for me I'm like I cannot live my life like this. Like I need to have an extraordinary life that is like you know what I'm saying? Like I think some people just
Yeah.
are more comfortable with
well,
where they
first
are
of
in
all,
life.
some people are afraid to even say that. Like some people
Mm-hmm.
don't have lost all self-belief in them to even say that. I
Yeah.
talk to some people and they're even afraid to say things like that because I don't know what's happened, but yeah, they've
Yeah.
lost confidence. But there's a question I like to ask a lot of people our age, or not even if you're not in your 20s, in your 30s, or even if you're in
Yeah.
your
Any
teens, is would you rather work for yourself and make 100,000 a year or make 200,000 a year working for someone else? And I want to hear from you guys as well, but there's no right answer, there's no wrong answer, but it just tells a lot about a person because there's a lot of people that say I want to have my business, I want to
100K.
have my
Yeah.
business, but then they would choose the 200K over the 100K.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true.
um, so they're sacrificing their time and their freedom for that extra paycheck. So would you guys, I think I know the answer from you guys because we're doing the same thing, but
Yeah.
yeah, so which one would you rather choose?
Give me that 100K, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's not
me
yeah.
even
too.
like,
Me too. But you know what? Like
and
one time, Chris, sorry to cut you off, but one time Chris tweeted this. and like people were hating,
Oh,
like they
I
were,
got roasted, bro. I was
yeah,
like,
Chris got hate, like some hate on Twitter for this, and I was like, I was actually shocked that people were like so, like there was so much disbelief that like you could want to work for yourself for half of the income versus like making double the income and working for someone else. But like I just value my time. Like my dream in life since
oh
I've
yeah.
been working was always like I just want to be able to go to the gym when I want. I want to be able to eat when I want. I'm tired of like having to beg to go on vacation. Like for me, those things were so important to me. And like maybe it's because I was working from such a young age and I missed out on a lot of things. But like for me, it's like my time and my like just being able to control my own life
Yeah.
is like so important for me. So for me, that's like it's not even about authority. Like I don't care about having a boss that much. It's mostly just like I want to be able to like spend my time how I want to spend my time. And a lot of people don't agree with this.
I think
Yeah,
a lot of
but
people do agree with it, but I don't know, they're choosing the money over that.
yeah,
Yeah.
but you see, and I tell people like you have to ask yourself, why are you doing this for? And we talk
For
about
real.
all these brands, the all people's last names, Ford, Gucci, Procter and Gamble, the,
Hmm.
the Walmart family, the all other people's last names. So why would I
Hmm.
sell my soul for an extra $100,000 when I could work on myself, work on my business, and make a legacy and make my last name valuable and make
Yeah.
my kids
It's
be
just people
proud that
don't
I
want to do
great
that
great generation.
initial, they don't want to do that initial sacrifice. Like I said, people just don't think it's worth it, I think, to do that initial sacrifice of like having to work extra to like get ahead. And because even me, like I used to be like, oh well, I'm poor, so I'm just gonna have to like suck it up and keep a job, you know? And I was like, oh, I'm never gonna be able to like get ahead because it's so much harder for me. That's what I used to tell myself all the time. And like once I got over the fact that like, okay, I grew up poor, blah blah blah, and I was like, like I just got over it. Like, and yes, okay, maybe I had some more struggles than some people that I grew up with who had more money than me, who were able to, you know, do things easier than me. But once I got that mentality out of my head, I was like I had so much more like just ability to do things without complaining. And like I
Yeah,
swear it's like you just need to tell yourself like stop complaining, like you can stop limiting yourself basically. And yeah, I mean you just need to be like you just need to force yourself kind of to and like tell yourself that you are capable of doing that initial sacrifice, and that's going to lead to something greater. And a lot of people don't like they're not willing to take that sacrifice because they don't believe that it's actually possible. So I think that's where it comes from. I don't know, but yeah, I would choose the 100K for sure.
Yeah.
yeah.
I
But
always
you
Easily.
said an interesting
Easily.
point. You said an interesting point because I think it's the self belief, and I think that c- we all come from a similar background. Where it's like, we're not made for money. We didn't come from money.
mm,
Everything you do, you're the first person in your family that's gonna do it.
yeah.
So sometimes you have to wrap your head around saying that I'm gonna be different. I know we talk about like having businesses, etc., multiple streams of income. It could be as simple as starting a side hustle, starting an ebook, something simple that makes you an extra $30 per month, an extra $30 or $30 per day gives you an extra 10K. How
Yeah.
many people could use an extra 10K in their life? So I think that
Yeah.
we're such in a society where pride gets in the way of other people. Because like Sasha said, you have to suck it up. Sometimes you have to look at yourself and say, either you're
Yeah.
not good enough and you have
Shut
to
the
change
fuck up and
yourself,
just do it.
or you have to like look at yourself and be like, I want to be here, but I'm here, and there's this whole gap. And
Yeah.
sometimes, like, like we spoke about a couple episodes ago, I took the pandemic to like reinvent myself or reinvent my mental psyche to be able to say, okay, well, these are the areas that I'm lacking. Let me look to fix that. But you have to do that initial diagnostic of your person as well to be able to look to see what are your defaults.
Self-awareness, bro. It's so
Yeah,
important
self awareness is
to,
key.
yeah. Yeah.
Guys, and also like it's not only like because I kept saying like, oh, you have to sacrifice to like have a business and stuff, but you can also like if you're somebody who is not comfortable with your financial situation and like you don't like your job, whatever, and you want something better in the future, it doesn't even have to even be a business. It can literally just be you stop spending your money on like stupid shit and just invest your money. Because like I always see people saying like the safe way to get rich is to just like invest your money, like as much money as you can
Yeah.
until whatever. And like that's an option too. Like you don't have to have a business. I think overall a business is a better solution of growing money faster, because like that's just a proven fact. Like there's no cap to how much you can make. But like if you want to do it a safer way where you don't have to like, I guess, build up a business, because some people don't want to be a business owner. So I think you can also just like invest your money, and like that's an like just have a good like get yourself to a point where you're paid well, sacrifice like those nights out, spending money on alcohol, eating out, like Netflix, all of these things that you're paying for, and just put your money in investments. And like that's like kind of like a safe, maybe slower way of doing it, but it's like a pretty safe way to do it. So even if you're not somebody who's like really into business and stuff, like that's also something that you can do. Like if you don't want to be a business owner, because I have some people saying like I just don't ever want to really be a business owner. And so that's another way that you can do it, is literally just invest your money. And like I think they can have a greater future as well.
Bro, if you don't go the
Chris,
business owner route,
hit them with your line. Hit them with your line. One source of income is too close. Yeah, hit them.
No. I was gonna say, wait, what was I gonna say? I was gonna say, if you're not gonna be a business owner and you're gonna choose the employee route, you're choosing the safe route, you better make sure you retire a millionaire.
Facts. It's true, because they say like when you're 25, if you invest, how much is it? Like
$500 per month.
That's it.
500 a month. Yeah.
So if you're gonna take the safe route, you better make sure that you retire a millionaire. Because if you go the safe route and you don't end up with a nice retirement, you're going to have a lot of regrets.
Yeah, but you see we see that every single day, and I'm tired of us saying that, or people saying, "Oh, I'm just gonna retire my money." You have pension funds that are underperforming. You have pension funds that are giving returns of fucking 2%, and I have my dad's papers. Him doing his taxes getting fucking 4% in this economy, and that's why people are like, "Oh, I'm just gonna do it with my working retirement," and like go talk to people from Citibank who had hundreds of thousands of dollars in their company's employee stock program, and it was a bank, by the way. They did a reversal split. The stock went down to $1. So if you had $1 million, you have a couple $100,000 left. That's why I'm like diversification, because a bunch of banks have safe stocks, but you never know. What if you retire during the pandemic and you were supposed to retire in March?
Oh my God, you're right.
You're fucked.
Your whole stock portfolio went down. Half. Coupe.
You're right.
Now you're forced to work. So like Chris said, I'm still in his line today. One source of income is too close to none, and it doesn't have to be a business. It's not business and entrepreneurship. It's both. There's multiple streams of income. You can buy a chalet, a condo, Airbnb it. You can buy a vending machine. There's Toro. If you have a 9 to 5, you could tow your car during your work. There's ways to make money, and like as long as you're able to increase your income, I'm not saying double, 10x it, whatever. If you're just able to increase or have somebody pay your expenses, your base expenses, and you invest the difference, okay, now we're in business. But I think so many people are consumed saying, I'm not going to have my Starbucks of $3 because I'm trying to become a millionaire. $3 is not going to make a difference. And I was that dude that said, I'm not going to have a large coffee because I'm trying to save $1.30.
Yeah.
Like I could just make $1.30 and buy my Starbucks.
I really prefer like increasing my income rather than cutting my income, because I'm somebody that does like to spend a little bit, which is probably a bad habit of mine. But like
the biggest myth.
You should allow yourself to spend. Focused on like cutting your expenses and I think it's important, especially if you are somebody that is very impulsive and spends your money a lot. It is very important to like create a budget and like cut your like unnecessary expenses. But like in my experience, like increasing my income is like focusing on that has been way more helpful for me than cutting my expenses. So yeah, I think like it can go both ways depending on the person, I guess. But for me, increasing my income has helped so much. And I used to always like work 2 jobs at the same time. I would always be like, oh, I can increase my income by working a second job. And that's where it kind of like fucked me over in a way, because I was like spending my whole day working 2 different jobs, and then like I had no more time left to do anything. But like I remember tweeting like when I first started selling on Amazon and like doing other things online that are like not as, I guess, time consuming, but I'm not like selling my hour, or like I'm not selling my time for money really. It's like it's you guys know how it works. But that's when I remember tweeting like, oh my God, I wish that I would have just known that there were other ways to increase my income other than just working a second job. And I feel like we're never told these things. And a lot of people will think like, oh, I'm going to get another job. But like there's so many other ways to make money that don't require you trading your time for money. And I think once you tell yourself, stop trading, I'm going to stop trading my time for money, and that's when you'll really start being able to increase your income without having to sacrifice so much of your time. And I think that's where my life really started to change, because I used to work like, you ask anyone like in my family, I've worked so many jobs in my entire life. Like it's unbelievable. I had 4 jobs at one point at the same time, and it was like the
Oh
worst
my god.
period of my life. And I remember just like literally going from like one job to the next job to the next job, and like not taking a break in between. And I was like, so because I was a bit younger, I think I was able to do, I was like 18, so I was able to do it, but I was like not able to go out with my friends. Like I wasn't really able to enjoy my youth, I guess, because I was always freaking working, And so I think people just need to understand that there are so many more ways to make money without trading your time. And that's what helped me the most to increase my income, really, was that realization.
I just don't understand why so many people in their 20s are playing it so safe. I just don't understand.
Like we said, that's how we're
Can we
taught
go
to
into
do
it?
it.
Can we
That's
go
how
Bro,
into it?
we're living on literally a floating rock in the middle of space. Like if you take it that deep,
It's
and
getting deep.
yeah, but and
No, but
that
it's true.
extra 100K that you're gonna
Holy
yo, wait. That extra
I'm sorry,
100K,
it just clicked in my head. I was like,
bro, but it's true. It's true if you think
yo,
of
man
it
went
in
Thanos on us, bro.
Yeah,
literally.
literally.
So if you think of it that way, that extra 100, you better love your job, because that extra 100K is not gonna fill the void of you not being in control of your time.
Yeah,
It's just
and
not.
Like too short and like too precious to like do something that you
Bro,
fucking
life is too short to be working
I
a
want
nine
people
to five that you
to,
hate.
if you guys didn't watch episode 1, go back to see the joy that Sasha and Chris had when they talked about that Euro trip. You guys did a trip of a lifetime,
That's
like
fun.
that.
Mm.
And for me, it's not salary, it's not, oh, do I love my job? For me, it's having options. Whichever route gives me the most options to say, fuck it.
That's
I
it.
want to go to Europe. I want to go in New York tomorrow. I could do it. Cool. If it's a $200,000 job, okay, be it. I'm gonna do it. Most likely, that's not the case. But for me, my definition of wealth is having options. Whichever route you want to go, as long as you have options, that's what it is. But like Chris said, I think so many people are just paralyzed and they're legit going with the flow. And it's like you tell them, where are you planning to live? I don't know. Where are you
Mm.
planning to live? I don't know. How much money you have saved up? I don't know. How are you going to invest? I don't know. How much you need for retirement? I don't know. And these are questions. You're 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Like if you think about, I don't want to compare us compared to our parents' generations, but our parents were popping out kids at like 24, 25, 26, 27.
Yeah.
And right now, with such a generation and the educational system delayed everything, now people are starting their lives a bit like older, etc. But I think a lot of people in this generation don't ask themselves at the actual questions of like planning out our life or planning out what type of life you want.
Yeah.
That's true.
Because if
Yeah,
you
our
if you
generation is
take the
fucked.
time to just think about you as a parent when you have kids, if you just take the time to imagine you having to be somewhere for 40 hours a week, you have to be there while having kids as well. Just thinking of that for me decided everything. I was like, there is no way. I would work with people who had kids and stuff. And just one time I heard this person say to her kid, like, oh, not now, not now. Mommy's at work. Mommy's busy. I finished my shift in 5 minutes or whatever. And I could never ever imagine myself saying that to my kid, because I don't know, family is the most important thing for me, and being away from my family to be somewhere where I do not ever want to be. Yeah, yeah, I don't give a shit about how much money I make, to be honest. Like if I make, let's say 50K a year and I have my own business and I'm free in control of my time, you would have to make like 900K a year to feel like you're doing or to make me feel like you're doing better than me or something.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if you're tied up and we're not even having the same conversations, like,
But you see, and like, look at the confidence, the way you said it. Some people came and wrap their brain on what we just said, because you're so in tune of up here, and where you want to go. That is like in sync everywhere.
yeah, it
Yeah.
sounds
Some
stupid or
people,
crazy to some people to like
but that's
900K
what I'm
over
saying.
50K. But 900K when you're tied to being somewhere 40 hours a week, that, or talking to people that you don't even like or anything like that, especially I'm talking purely to people, or if you hate your job. If you love your job and you're making 900K, you want to,
Yeah,
like,
you killed it. Like
you
you
literally
actually
killed it.
killed it.
I'm never ever talking to anyone who likes their job or loves their job. Never. I'm talking to the people who are miserable working for
Who
someone
complain?
else, and but who have high paychecks. So that means they're comfortable because they're getting paid a lot. And why would I risk it? Why would I move if I'm getting paid a lot? Even though I don't like it, even though I hate it, even though it doesn't fill me, or it doesn't motivate me at all, or I know that it's not why I'm on this earth. No one was put on this earth to work 9 to 5. No one.
That's a fact.
Like, you're not on this floating rock to be in a 9 to 5. That's at the end of the day. No one, no one. Like, yeah. Anyways, that was my rant. That was the first time I ever I ever got on the rant.
Yeah, Chris's like first rant.
Yeah,
Yeah,
facts. Let's give
episode 6.
a little round of applause, bro. Six
Yeah, for
episodes
real.
in, bro. Only took 6 episodes,
Six
Yeah.
but
episodes.
I think it's important, and like, you know, I don't know. I'm in this like place in my life where I'm like, yo, at the end of the day, we're, at least I'll speak for like me and like people I've been around. Like, this is the age where the separation begins. Like, you're gonna
Yeah.
see who was about that business, who was just talking, and then who was just living the life, going the flow. And 5 years from now, you're gonna be like, shit. He said he was gonna do this. He actually did it, and then you're gonna be like,
Mhm.
wow, this person was here, ended up down here. So this is the time where you want to plan out. I'm not saying you need to have a whole mood board of saying this and that, but having specific goals in place to the type of life you want really goes a long way. Because I think, like
Yeah.
Sasha said, having short, medium, and long term goals goes a long way. Because I think so many people are just like Chris said, I'm gonna live a comfortable life. I'm gonna take my 2 weeks off and then repeat the same thing next year and the year after that, or the year after that, and then afterwards, you fast forward 10 years, and what did you actually accomplish in your life? Nothing substantial.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, people think that they're supposed to suffer and like just take on jobs that pay well that they hate. And like I've heard people like give this advice saying like, oh, well, just go work a job that you hate and like force yourself, like that's what you should be doing instead of like going into something that they actually like, for example. And to me, that's so like against what I believe because I'm just like, maybe it's just because I like had a job that I hated and like I went that route where like I didn't really find anything that I liked and like what I ended up doing I didn't really like and I don't know, maybe I had bad experiences, but like I hate when people say things like that, like they're expecting you to sacrifice like for a job that I don't know, it just to me it's just like that's just not something that I would ever suggest to anyone. I think like
Yeah.
sometimes you can like you can sacrifice it for a bit of time, but like if that's going to be something that you do for 40 years and you're telling me like I fucking hate my job, like to me that's just like that's not a life that you can live. And to emphasize what Chris said about like family being the most important thing, the number one thing that like makes me the happiest of when I quit my job is the fact that I get to spend pretty much every single day with my mom, with my siblings. And like when I was working, I didn't realize how little time I spend with my family because like
Yeah.
every day I was at work. And now that I'm like literally home every day, I can choose to like spend time with my family every single day. It's like it's become something so important. And I've even made goals, like I said this in another episode, but I made goals saying like, oh, I want to spend more time with my family, like quality time with my family. And this wasn't even like something that I used to think of doing because I didn't have the time to do it. And like it just wasn't even possible to fit that in my schedule. I mean, yes, it's always possible a bit, but like it was never like that possible to fit into my schedule. And so for me, that's like Chris is saying, that's the most important thing of all, is like just being able to have your time to like don't spend your life wasting your life for 40 years in something that you actually absolutely despise. If you love your job, you know, like when like Chris said, we're never speaking to people that found something that they love and they're being paid really well. If you
Yeah.
did, congrats to you. I'm jealous. But you know, it's like, it's not like a lot of people, it's not going to be like that for them, and they end up just like suffering. And there was a book by Robert Greene, or it was a podcast actually, and he was saying that he was like, you're never going to, I forget the exact quote, but he was basically saying like something that you're going to realize like later on, you're never going to regret like trying to change your situation that you hate, or like trying to try something new or whatever. You're like, the thing that you're going to regret the most basically is like settling in something that you fucking hate. And he
Yeah.
was like, he's like, I saw a point in my life where I was like, if I do this for another couple of years, I'm going to hate myself. And he was just like, I have to get out of this job, because when I'm 40, like I think he's like 60 now, but he was like, when I'm 60, if I'm still doing this job, I'm literally going to hate myself. And like, that's going to be his biggest regret. So it's like, anyways, we've been going on and on about this for so long, but it basically just like, just basically, if you hate your job, if you hate your situation, like try new things. And
Yeah,
you
make
know,
a plan for yourself.
Yeah,
Really,
you
like
know,
like
make
Charl was
an
saying,
exit
like
plan.
start planning like what you can do. And I think I think in general, like in life, there are sacrifices that you may need to make, and maybe working that job for another 2 years is part of the plan. But like, as long as you have a plan for something better, I think that's the direction that you should go in. And yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
yeah.
my closing
Go,
statement
Chris.
for the
Just
topic.
quickly, yeah, for me, like what you just said, staying in my job was part of the plan. So I knew I would have to suck it up for the
Yeah,
next 2 years because I put myself in that position. It
facts.
was paying the bills at the time. It allowed me to invest more money into my business. So if you are aware that you don't like your job, then you need to make a plan for yourself and then stick to it. But also understand that the sacrifice you'll have to make might just be to stay at that job an extra year, an extra two
Yeah.
years, because you
Yeah,
You
put
see,
yourself in that position.
I just want
facts.
to say one last comment because what Chris
Mhm.
said is very important. Your first investor in your business or your side hustle, your passion project is your 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So
It's so true.
I don't
You
want to
need
poo
money to
poo.
make money.
Yeah,
No,
I
100%.
don't want
me
to poo
too.
poo having a 9 to 5, etc. Like Sasha say, if you're doing a job you don't like, look at it as your job funding your passion project or your business or whatever.
That's it.
And
That's
I
it.
think it makes it more tolerable to have or to go in knowing that you're getting paid to fund your dream. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
so
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a better way to look at it than saying, "Oh, I am my 9 to 5, this and that."
No,
Just
no, no,
like
yeah,
no.
like if you love going on vacation and you have a high salary, look at it like your job's paying for your vacation, and if you have something
hmm
else that could pay for your vacation, and like Chris said, potentially have an exit plan, Tom, you're
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
even better. If not, then at least you have a different way of looking at it and say, "I am my 9 to 5."
Let's not get it twisted. When I say you're 9 to 5, you hate it, whatever, that doesn't mean quit your 9 to 5 today. I'm never saying quit your 9 to 5 today. That would be
facts.
irresponsible. You have to make a plan, including your 9 to 5. You have to take responsibility for the position that you're at in your life. That's what I had to do.
Accountability.
And
Facts.
then stay there to be able to, like Charles said, fund as much of your side hustles, your businesses, as much as possible. Because that 9 to 5, you're already sort of comfortable with it. Um, it's a steady paycheck. So keep that steady paycheck until you're fully ready to quit.
Facts.
But yeah, just you have to be self-aware. You have to ask yourself these questions and you have to plan for the future.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's pretty much
Facts.
it.
I think
Um,
that's a beautiful segment. We went on for so long, but I think we're all just really passionate about like that side of life, about like all of that. So, but I wanted to mention something about, to go back to money myths. I wanted to talk about cars, because growing up, like people always talk about cars and stuff, but I wanted to talk about my experience of buying a car. So when I first bought my car, I remember everyone saying like different, I had different comments like, oh, buy a car, oh, you should buy like a cheap shitty car, or like don't lease a car, blah 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 blah. But for me personally, as somebody who has no car experience, and like my family couldn't really help me get a car, so what I ended up doing is I just leased a car. But I remember feeling like so guilty doing it. I was like, oh my god, why did I just do this? And it was so expensive. Like at the time for me, I never had an expense like that, so I was kind of like, what the fuck am I doing? But I was also really happy to have a car, because I've never had a car in like my entire life. So I was so happy. And but then I remember everyone saying to me, and if I found this so strange, everyone was like, oh my god, congrats on like leasing a car. And I was like to me, the fact that like people are congratulating people for like basically going into debt. To me, that makes no sense because it's like I just signed up for a lease that I'm going to be paying off for the next 5 years. How is that something to congratulate me on? You know what I mean? And so I don't know,
Yeah.
like I wanted to talk about this because it's like people see that like people see like people who lease a car basically, or who are financing a car. It's like that's such an amazing achievement. It's seen as it's seen as like such an amazing achievement. But I remember working with people who were like, yeah, I'm leasing this like expensive car, and like everyone was like, oh my god, wow, he's like, wow, he killed it in life.
Yeah, he
But
made it.
his whole paycheck was paying off that lease to make him look good. And so that's something that I want to talk about because it's like I said, it's like we're so ready to congratulate people for these things when like at the end of the day, it's just like a front of them kind of like flexing of or like flexing something that they have, but it's like they don't even own it, number one. Number two, their whole paycheck is basically paying it off. They have no more money after that. So like that's kind of what I want to talk about. What do you guys
Yeah.
think about like that, like leasing and all of that?
No, I fuck with leasing, but the key is if you have
For
an F plate
business,
that's
if
able to
that's
deduct
it. If you have a
40%
business,
of the expenses, get the car you want.
yeah.
But
Exactly.
and like I'm the jobpreneur on the show, like I used to work at this insurance company, and a lot of, with some people you needed to have a BMW, Mercedes, and that to be taken seriously.
Mhm.
And I think, like Sasha said, we're so in a situation in a society where we congratulate status symbols. If you have a big car, and if you have a nice car, if you have a big house, etc., if you have a nice watch, what can come congratulate you? But if you start a business, if you go to therapy,
Yeah, no
you
one
might not
says
be as
shit.
quick as being congratulations. You see a post of somebody from the house, you'll see on Instagram 50 comments. Oh, I started a new business. One like, two comments, one
It's like
share.
who do you think you are? Like no one
You
gives a
know,
shit. Yeah.
and it's like that's why I tell people your best friends may not be your best friends because some of the friends that you have, as soon as you have the status symbols, will come share your page, etc. But if you start a new business, you might not have as many people resharing the same love as you thought you would have. So
Yeah. And
it's
it's
an
like people are
interesting
going
point.
broke. People are going broke for these cars, like to
Yeah,
look. Oh, it's such a twisted like thing. Like they're going broke to look rich. Like what
yeah.
the
Because
fuck? It's
imagine
just
paying
it's
$700 for a car that you use. Like, let's be real. Let's say, for example, you drive 2 hours a day. Is it worth paying $700 a month to drive technically 2 hours a day?
absolutely
Like I
absolutely.
calculate that shit like that. Like Chris said,
That's a really good way
if
to look
it's
at
not
it.
or if you don't have a way to deduct it via business or this and that,
Yes.
it's
That's the best thing
it's not
about
worth
owning
it.
a business. The best thing about owning a business. I was like, it's so nice to be able to like have like if you use your car for business, it's really nice to be able to like deduct it as business expense. This is
Guys,
not how.
whoever has a real estate property, you're
I
able to
thought you
deduct it. FYI. No, I just want to point that out because it's not just owning a business. Owning real estate also allows you to deduct
oh, you're
anything.
right. You're
Yeah.
right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, there's a lot of different like things. But anyways, speak to like a tax
Owning real
consultant
estate
on that.
for as an investment, right? Like as a
Yeah,
rental.
exactly. As an investment property, yes.
Okay, okay.
So
To clarify.
basically, you can claim your car like that you're driving every time you drive there. You can claim those
Yeah,
kilometers.
drive there, go pick up materials, etc. So essentially, anytime you go to Home Depot, pick up rent, etc., you could go deduct
Mm.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, with Amazon, like
your gas
every time,
mileage.
yeah, exactly. With Amazon, it's like every time that you're driving, every time that you're sourcing, basically for inventory, if you source in person, um, every time you visit those stores and you're purchasing inventory, you can claim all of those expenses, which is pretty cool. And again, the mileage and the kilometers as well. Yeah, I
Sasha,
think
can you
that's
give the app that you use to calculate your mileage?
yes, it is called Miles IQ. However, it's like it caps you off at like I think 20 kilometer. No, I forget. It caps you off at a certain number, but it's like it's super helpful otherwise. Yeah, it's very, very helpful. And so you can kind of track like every time you know that you're going to go drive for business purposes, you can turn it on and it will track that those kilometers as business. And what's really nice is because the way that I had to calculate my business miles last year was literally going through my Google Maps. Like I literally went through Google Maps 365 days throughout the year and I calculated how many trips, like I
That's
checked where
crazy.
I went because Google Maps tracks you everywhere you go. Like it tells you exactly where you went, where you parked your car, what store you were at. Like it's actually crazy.
That's
So if
cute.
ever you, yeah, it's fucked up. But if ever you guys are like, shit, I didn't calculate my kilometers properly, go check out Google Maps and you can literally see every single day how many kilometers you drove. And So I was able to calculate it all through there. But now this year I'm using Miles IQ, so it's like it's just much more organized. So yeah, guys, check out Miles IQ.
Yeah.
Yo, we
And
need them
I'm
to
gonna give
sponsor
the
Yeah,
us.
we
cheat.
need them to sponsor us.
Yeah. Yeah, facts. Yo, we need to make sponsors.
That was a
Potential
whole
But
sponsor.
advertisement.
That
I'm gonna
wasn't
give the cheat codes. So for people who have a business, is if you're able to have two F plates and you give one to your spouse, that's the trick. That's the trick. So
Explain,
some people
please.
have, we'll say, a company car where you're able to put a logo. If you're able to put a logo, you're able to deduct the logo, the mileage, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But if you aren't going that route of having a official business and incorporating, even just having a side business, if you're able to at least reach $30,000 in sales, then you could go ahead and put an F plate on your car and hire one employee, aka your spouse, give a second car with F plates, and then you're able to deduct two cars in your household and use those funds to invest your money afterwards or
Oh,
reduce your
that's so
tax bill.
smart. That's smart. I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, of course. So we planning.
Wait,
Planning.
how are you making sales with investment property? Like, what sales counted as? Is it capital gains? How?
No, I said like with a business, like with actual like
Oh, okay, okay,
business.
okay, okay, okay. I thought investment property. Okay.
Yeah, I guess in
Yeah,
general for any business. Yeah, that's really
yeah, that's
smart.
smart.
You can
Yeah.
also like pay your children and pay your spouse too, like an income, and have them work for you.
Hold on. Children? Hold on. Chill. I'm gonna write it down. I didn't know that. I did not know that.
Yeah,
I
I
did
saw a
not know
video on
that.
YouTube.
Yeah,
I
you
saw a
can,
video.
but they have to
Maybe I'm
be.
wrong.
Is it?
But
I saw that in the US. Is it? We'll get the accountant over
Oh,
here.
I don't
Oh
I
yeah,
know.
know
we
you
need,
could pay your
bro. We
children
need to
under the
talk
age of
about that.
11. In the
I'm not
US, you
sure
pay your
about
children
Canada,
under the age of 11. But if
but I
it's in
saw it.
Canada, oh, yo.
I think it was a YouTube video of a guy from the US, so maybe it doesn't
Okay.
work here. But I would assume that it would work. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But
You know, we need an accountant on the show because that'll be
yeah,
Yeah,
we
we
need
do. We
we need
do.
to
We
have like
do.
a nutritionist. We need to have an accountant. We
a
need Miles like
therapist.
to sponsor us. Yes, a therapist. That'd be really good.
Therapist would be fire for real.
Yo,
Yeah.
But
therapist? From.
Yeah, I think it's really important. Like that's a really important topic. Like we were saying, we're gonna do a whole like anxiety one. I think that'd be really cool.
yeah,
But yeah. I mean, I think we spoke about all of the myths.
yeah. I think we've had a great episode, to be honest. Like there was the Newton thing. Uh, just quickly for anyone who
Oh yeah.
got a notification from Newton that $20,000 was deposited into your account. I saw a tweet from them. It was a bug, so you did not get
Yeah,
$20,000.
unfortunately.
I thought, bro, I was already planning what I was gonna do with the 20K.
Planning? Yo, I was about to text my girl and be like, yo, we're buying a bigger house.
That's it. That's
Like
it.
it was gonna go like that. Like, and that's where it's
But no, yeah, it was a glitch from Newton, and
That's
do you
so
guys have
funny.
access to your account today? I didn't try to log
yeah, I
in.
have access yesterday.
Oh, you can log
But I
in.
just wanted to tell people, even though crypto is a great investment, it is a risky
Wait.
investment. So having a ledger, having a wallet are mandatory. Do not leave your money in these apps because we don't know what could happen. And for people who want to invest in the stock market, look at the cybersecurity space. There are two major players. I won't give any names. I am not your financial advisor, but you may want to look at Striker and CrowdStrike, two cybersecurity companies that are going to make a lot of money in the cybersecurity space long term, and look to protect your investments because the worst thing you could do is have all your investments in the platform and not have it backed up to your wallet or ledger, and you lose all your money.
Yeah, that would be like that's my biggest fear. Oh my god, I would
Oh,
die.
I had a friend who lost 30K Bitcoin in 2017.
What?
In 2017.
Oh,
Oh,
stop.
I don't know how much that shit would be
fuck.
worth right now,
All right,
but
Yeah, that's disgusting. I would cry. I would actually cry. Like that's horrible.
so there's a
shit.
bunch of YouTube videos to be able to put your money
Yeah,
in a
all
ledger
the
or in a wallet.
yeah, and turn on all the two-factor authentication things as well.
Yeah,
Don't
You
save
guys
your
do that?
yeah, I did. Yeah, I do. Don't save your passwords on
I hate doing it, but I do it.
yeah, like keep your passwords
Question.
elsewhere. Yeah.
Would you give your spouse the password to your wallet? Cause I saw somebody who got who wasn't able who had terminally ill or wasn't incapacitated, never give the password to anyone. So all his assets are locked
Shit.
away.
No
So
way. I would.
I
I would.
Yeah. If it's my spouse, then I think yeah, of course.
Shit.
Well, you wouldn't?
I leave on the will.
Yeah, that's it. On the
Well,
will.
that's the
On the
thing.
will.
That's what I was
On
gonna
the
say. Is
will.
yeah. I think yeah.
Because if you
It
get divorced,
depends. Yeah.
But yeah, we've had a great episode, to be honest.
sorry,
What?
I thought Sasha laughing, so I laughed.
Oh, okay. No. It's been good. So, yeah, let us know in the comments if you would take 100K or 200K. And
100K, and you're self-employed
yeah,
basically.
and you're in
200.
control of your own time, or
Yeah.
200K working for someone else. And we're not talking about, oh, I'm going to use the 200K to fund my business. No. We're talking about you either get option A or
This is
option
for
B,
the
because
rest of
that's
your
what
life. Yeah.
people come to me with, like, oh, I'm just
This
going to
is for
finish.
life.
Yeah, it's for life. So which one would you rather take? And yeah, so it's been all good. So this was episode 6 of the Untold Gems
Yeah.
podcast, and we will see you next week.
Bye, guys.